All types. We do need those people. Let's say if it's a bell curve, the people on the lower end of sensitivity. Well, they're people that may take more risk. They may take more impulsive action, but in many ways, they're the people that push culture forward. They push things forward. But and our society tends to praise those people and
Yeah.
reward them very, very well. Uh, but what's really cool about what's going on now in the world, and especially with more awareness about high sensitivity, is the other end of the curve is
Yes.
just as important as the curve that goes out and takes the chances and takes the risk. Now, I realize there are some high sensation seeking sensitive people. That's fine too. But what I'm talking about is there's that balance, right? That we need to have to keep the ship upright. And I
Mhm.
think that's where we're starting to recognize our gifts and what the world needs from us, and especially right now.
Welcome to Sensitive Stories. This episode is for educational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for treatment with a mental health or medical professional. Let's dive in. So, Bill, can you start off by telling us your HSP discovery story, how and when you realized that you're a highly sensitive person?
Oh, sure, absolutely. It's actually kind of an evolution. Um, as I had noted, as a highly sensitive person, because you know how aware we are of things and how we interact with our environment. I knew from childhood there was something different about me. Of course, I heard over and over again many times, well, you're too sensitive and
Uh-huh.
you're too emotional and you too handle criticism too poorly. So I started getting sort of socialized to this idea, to the term sensitive as a child, although it wasn't in the best of lights.
Yeah.
And I grew up, went through my adulthood, early adulthood, college experiences, having a family and work career and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that this was a trait until about 2005.
Oh.
I was probably about 50, 55 years old when I found out about it as a trait. It's something
Right.
you know that you're different that way, but a lot of times you get a little too judgmental with yourself because it doesn't sort of fit into the norm. But Douglas Eby had a newsletter. I really kind of got drawn to him because he was a psychologist and was also
Mm-hmm.
involved in the in some way in the film industry. And I thought those are two great combinations that
Yes.
I liked. And he had suggested at that time to read a book about high sensitivity, which was Elaine's book on
Mm-hmm.
her first book. So I
Yes.
picked up the book and I read it. And I went through it and it was like everything was me. Yep, that's me, that's me, that's me. But at the end of the day, April, it was hard for me to get my head and heart wrapped around the idea of being a sensitive man. It just,
Yes.
all those years of conditioning and being told this, that, and the other about sensitivity or my emotionality or any of the traits that we have that are associated with sensitivity was a bad thing. So I acknowledged it, but I didn't embrace it and I didn't accept it. It took me
Mm-hmm.
almost 10 years after that, after I had retired from my career, to sit down and start blogging
Yeah.
about high sensitivity. And so it was in that process of writing and researching, and I was asking questions that I didn't see anybody else writing about. They were about highly sensitive men, they were about circumstances that highly sensitive men would be in, and so forth and so on. And that was my initial self education about the trait. And that was the thing that got me to the point where I put my arms around it and said, I'm okay with this. This is who I am. And the rest is history, as they say. I wrote two books about it, and that was in and of itself a great self-discovery on what the trait was. But that's kind of how I came about. It was a long
Mm-hmm.
way, long journey,
Yeah.
but it's taken me to where I am today.